Why are some people created with the gender which they feel is wrong for them? I can't imagine how painful it must be to live life with a certain identity just because one was born with a certain biological makeup. This has been on my mind lately because of a friend who has struggled with this for years. First as a lesbian, and now she has made the decision to have surgery to no longer be a woman at all. I wonder how a just God can put a person into a body which they feel is flawed and needs to be altered surgically. What is your perspective on this? Gender issues are unbelievably complex and mysterious. We really don't even understand what sexuality is all about. I come from a perspective that we're not just here by accident, that God placed us here. And each of us born, whether male or female, that's how we were meant to be. We all understand that all kinds of factors and many circumstances may contribute to how a person sees and identifies with their own gender. Often, it's not necessarily about nature, meaning how you're born. Often it's about events that happen in your formative years, events that happen in how your parents treat you, and often these things affect how we see ourselves, whether male or female. We also have to understand, especially as the way the mystics explain it, all of us have feminine elements and all of us have masculine elements. Even though there is what is called a man and a woman, but it's not complete mutual exclusive behavior or personality types. There are feminine aspects to a man and there are masculine aspects to a woman. Some people have more of a balance, less of a balance. These are very different and they should be embraced. So I don't believe that it's a simple matter for someone to just go ahead and say, I am definitely not a man or definitely not a woman, even though biologically and every other way they were born that way. Because you may be tampering with something that may not bring you happiness anyway. I happen to know someone that went through a gender change and they're not a happier person. They now struggle whether they made a mistake because on one part they feel male, another part they feel female. It's not simple. Anyone that's a healthy relationship with their own sexuality knows that we all have, as I mentioned, feminine aspects. So what does that mean? That you should suddenly become a female because of that? So sometimes it's the distortions, and I say it with all the sensitivity, with the distortions of how we perceive our own sexuality. And frankly, we live in a world where sexual identity is a mess. And heterosexuals, homosexuals, and all the other names and titles that exist. Because sexuality has become divorced from intimacy. It's become divorced very often from purpose. It's about personal pleasure. Some people feel proud actually to say, I'm in a sexual relationship without commitment. Tell me, is that healthy? Intimacy, on the other hand, is a profound experience that isn't just sexual. It's 24/7. It's two people who bond with each other in the healthiest form. So it's not surprising that we have, especially today, so much confusion in this regard. So what I would suggest on a practical level, anyone that's facing this challenge, find out what the soul is like. Find out what your life's purpose is like. Because you may change something and then discover you're not happier because you've never found your calling. Maybe that's what it comes down to. What is our calling? Every male, every female on this earth has their calling, has their mission. And it's critical to learn to embrace what that mission is. And when you're at peace with that, then your gender fits right in because your gender is part of how you fulfill the purpose and calling of your life. And above all, it's absolutely critical when it comes to gender challenges to have someone to speak to that you trust, a mentor, a friend, because this issue is so bound up with isolation, despair, loneliness. Very difficult to make decisions under those circumstances. Having someone you can speak to openly can help you make the right decision and build the courage and strength to do what is right.